Electric vehicles are the future of transportation. Ford Motors learned this the hard way in 2024 when sales of the F-150 Lightning, the electric version of the iconic pickup truck, plummeted. The high cost of electric vehicles, averaging $55,000 in the United States, turned buyers away. Meanwhile, across the globe, China has surged ahead, dominating the electric vehicle market with affordable, high-quality cars. Over half of all electric vehicle sales worldwide now come from China. How did China, once reliant on foreign oil, become the undisputed leader in this critical industry? The answer lies in a mix of bold government policies, supply chain mastery, and relentless innovation. China's electric vehicle journey began 2 decades ago. In the early 2000s, China faced a looming crisis as the world's largest importer of oil. Dependence on foreign fuel threatened energy security, while air pollution choked cities, fueled by gas-powered cars. The head of the Ministry of Science and Technology saw an opportunity. Internal combustion engine technology was dominated by Western and Japanese automakers, and China struggled to compete. Electric vehicles, however, offered a fresh start. The government decided to bet big on what it called new energy vehicles, aiming to reduce oil imports and clean up urban skies. This vision sparked a wave of policies. Starting around 2009, the Chinese government poured resources into electric vehicles. Manufacturers received subsidies for every electric car sold, along with cheap land leases and low-interest loans from state-owned banks. From 2009 to 2022, China invested $29 billion in subsidies, research, and tax breaks for the electric vehicle industry. Local governments also created instant demand by electrifying public transport. Shenzhen, a bustling metropolis, transformed its fleet of 16,000 buses into fully electric vehicles, powered by BYD, a company that would later become the world's largest electric vehicle producer. Consumers were not left out. Discounts on charging, favorable parking rules, and exemptions from traffic restrictions made electric vehicles appealing. Distinct green license plates for electric cars became a visible symbol of special treatment, sparking public interest. China's strategy went beyond subsidies. The government set strict standards for batteries, requiring higher energy density to qualify for incentives. This pushed companies to innovate quickly. By 2009, cities began contracting Chinese firms to electrify taxi and bus fleets, giving companies like BYD a guaranteed market. When foreign automakers like General Motors and Tesla wanted to sell in China, a clever rule came into play. Their electric vehicles had to use Chinese-made batteries to qualify for consumer subsidies. This protected domestic battery makers and ensured China's industry grew strong. By 2022, when consumer subsidies were phased out, the demand for electric vehicles was already unstoppable. In 2024, over half of new car sales in China were electric, a milestone showing that buyers now preferred electric vehicles over gas-powered ones. This rapid growth stunned the world. Chinese electric vehicles were not just numerous, they were affordable and stylish. Companies like BYD brought sleek models to market, capturing consumer imagination. The success was no accident. China's government had created a self-sustaining ecosystem where manufacturers, consumers, and infrastructure worked in harmony. While the United States struggled with high electric vehicle prices and limited charging stations, China built a market where electric cars became the norm. The heart of any electric vehicle is the battery, which accounts for roughly 40% of production costs. China's dominance in this area explains much of its success. Lithium-ion batteries, the standard for electric vehicles, rely on 4 key components: the cathode, made with nickel, cobalt, and manganese; the anode, graphite; the electrolyte, lithium salts; and a separator. China controls the global supply chain for these materials in ways that no other country can match. Chinese companies have spent years acquiring stakes in mines worldwide, securing access to critical minerals like lithium, cobalt, and nickel. This ensures control over raw material prices and supply. Beyond mining, China dominates the refining process, where raw minerals are processed into usable forms. Refining is a polluting task, often avoided in developed nations, but Chinese factories handle the vast majority of it. They also manufacture most of the cathode, anode, electrolyte, and separator components, assembling them into battery cells. This end-to-end control keeps costs low and production efficient. China's manufacturing edge has deep roots. Companies like BYD started in the 1990s, making batteries for electronics before pivoting to electric vehicles. This experience gave them a head start over competitors. While Japan and South Korea once led in lithium-ion battery production, China has surpassed them. In the United States, battery manufacturing has historically been weak, leaving automakers like Ford and General Motors reliant on foreign suppliers. A U.S. rule under the Biden administration tried to counter this by limiting tax credits to electric vehicles with no more than 50% Chinese-sourced battery components or minerals. The result? Only 20% of electric vehicle models qualified, highlighting China's grip on the supply chain. China's lead in battery innovation has been a game-changer. In recent years, Chinese companies tackled the high cost of battery minerals like nickel and cobalt. They perfected lithium iron phosphate (LFP) batteries, which are cheaper and safer. In 2023, CATL, the world's largest battery maker, unveiled an LFP battery that could power a car for 370 miles on a 10-minute charge. BYD followed with its Blade battery, a thin, elongated design that packs more power into the same space, allowing cars to travel farther. Today, LFP batteries make up a growing share of electric vehicle batteries, and nearly all are made in China. This innovation has global reach. CATL has built plants in Germany and plans one in Hungary to serve Europe's auto market. Ford, despite resistance, partnered with CATL for a battery plant in Marshall, Michigan, which faced a U.S. House investigation but could become the first LFP plant in the United States. These advancements show why Chinese batteries are hard to avoid. As one expert noted, there simply is no viable alternative to China's LFP technology right now. This puts U.S. automakers in a bind. They need affordable batteries to compete, but reliance on Chinese technology sparks political and security concerns. In the United States, the electric vehicle market faces headwinds. High prices, like the $55,000 average for a new electric vehicle, deter buyers. Charging infrastructure lags behind, with only 61,000 public charging stations nationwide, 44,000 of which are in California. The state projects needing 1 million stations by 2030 to meet demand. California leads with 1.2 million registered electric vehicles, far ahead of other states, but the rest of the country struggles to embrace electric vehicles. Legacy automakers like Ford, General Motors, and Stellantis face a dual challenge: investing in electric vehicles while maintaining profitable gas-powered lines like SUVs and pickup trucks. Chinese competition terrifies Detroit. Models like the BYD Seagull, priced under $11,000, offer quality and affordability that U.S. automakers cannot match. A 100% tariff on Chinese electric vehicles keeps them out of the U.S. market, but this protection comes at a cost. It raises prices for consumers and slows the transition to electric vehicles, undermining climate goals. President Biden aims for over 50% of new car sales to be electric by 2032, but experts call this target unachievable given current trends. General Motors is cutting $2 billion in costs and exploring plug-in hybrids, while Ford is shifting focus to smaller, affordable electric vehicles. Even Tesla, a leader in the U.S. market, is slashing prices to compete with Chinese manufacturers by 2025. The fear of Chinese electric vehicles echoes a historical parallel. In the 1960s and 1970s, Japanese automakers like Toyota and Nissan entered the U.S. market with small, reliable cars. Detroit dismissed them as inferior until the 1980s and 1990s, when their quality and affordability disrupted the industry. U.S. automakers nearly collapsed before adapting. Today, Detroit is determined not to repeat that mistake. The China offensive, as Stellantis CEO calls it, threatens an extinction-level crisis for Ford, General Motors, and Stellantis. China's $230.8 billion investment in electric vehicles from 2009 to 2023, equivalent to 18.8% of electric car sales in that period, has created an industry that outpaces the United States in scale and innovation. Some argue the US should open its market. Keith Mikas, an electric vehicle enthusiast from San Diego, sees parallels with Japanese cars' arrival decades ago. He believes affordable Chinese electric vehicles would benefit consumers. Adam Rowe, a California entrepreneur who converts classic cars to electric, agrees, arguing that blocking Chinese electric vehicles puts the US behind globally. Both note that Ford and Tesla already use Chinese batteries, showing integration is inevitable. Yet, national security concerns, fears of spying through connected vehicles, bolster the case for tariffs. Washington and Detroit view the auto industry as strategic, too vital to let collapse. The United States is not alone in resisting Chinese electric vehicles. Brazil, Turkey, and the European Union have imposed tariffs, though less severe than the US's 100%. The EU's tariffs, ranging from 17% to 38%, aim to slow Chinese exports while encouraging local production. There are also concerns about Chinese factories in Mexico leveraging the US-Canada-Mexico agreement to bypass tariffs, though no such plans exist yet. BYD, once a bus manufacturer in California until restricted in 2019, is expanding globally, with factories planned in Hungary and elsewhere. China's electric vehicle success raises tough questions. The United States wants to meet climate goals but fears economic and security risks. Bloomberg estimates it would cost $82 billion for the US to meet domestic battery demand by 2030. For now, US automakers rely on Chinese batteries, as seen in Ford's Michigan plant and Tesla's supply chain. Balancing national security, economic growth, and environmental goals is a delicate act. Consumers, like those in California flocking to electric vehicles, want affordable options. Yet, protectionism keeps prices high, slowing the shift from fossil fuels. China's rise in the electric vehicle war is a story of foresight and execution. By investing heavily, controlling the supply chain, and innovating relentlessly, China has made electric vehicles accessible and desirable. The United States, meanwhile, grapples with high costs, limited infrastructure, and fears of foreign dominance. General Motors Factory Zero aims to reduce reliance on Chinese batteries, but progress is slow. As the world races to combat climate change, the question remains: can the United States catch up, or will China's lead prove insurmountable? The answer will shape the future of transportation, economies, and the planet itself.